Alors bonsoir tout le monde.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this regular public meeting of the Dieppe City Council. No special announcement to be made tonight. For our opening words, dear colleagues, let's have the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Welcome to one and all. We will confirm the quorum. Everyone is here. Confirmation, conflict of interest, none have been received to my knowledge. Am I right? We will proceed with the adoption of the agenda moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc, that we adopt the agenda. On the question, any question? No question. All those in favor, say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. The agenda is adopted as presented. We'll proceed with 7 presentations, inquiries, and petitions. 7.1 inquiries by council members to the Kodiak Regional RCMP. We have the privilege to have Superintendent Chris Lowe with us tonight. If you have any question, do you have anything to raise with the superintendent? I understand it's summer months. No one has had complaints about Mr. Godet. Thank you, Your Worship. I want to mention I received an email, I think others receive it also, to the fact that it was a complaint concerning the noise of a motorcycle in the middle of the night on Emerald Street. They drive at a high speed. I know there are laws as to the use of exhaust system, and the level of decibel must be at a given level. I wonder, sir, on the patrol, if recently there's been any charges, any arrests made. If so, is there anything we can do, or must we accept it as a fact of life? To be awakened at 2 o'clock in the morning by a motorcycle at a high speed is not exactly pleasant. We don't know how to attack it, but maybe you do. We have to keep an eye open. We can wake up and run downstairs. The motorcycle has gone by. It's gone. I leave it to you. It's very difficult, but nevertheless, I would like to know about it. I would like to know about the complaints. We can focus the people that are responsible for it. We receive often similar complaints, and we can work with the province at the provincial level. They have people who can help us dealing with the noise level. As such, we don't have the instrument to measure the level of decibel. I know that in Montreal, I believe I saw that somewhere, there was a stop. The police stop every car, but they stop a motorcycle and they make a check on the level of decibel that is coming out of the motorcycle, and if it's beyond a certain level, they are charged. Do we do it here in this region, this area? I received some complaints from Riverview concerning the same situation as the one you're bringing up. I have it on my list, and we will let the headquarters in Fredericton know about it, and we will lead on people who are higher than us and responsible for this, have more expertise than we do, to target either a check stop or something similar in the area where we find these complaints. usually the same persons who are responsible for, but we'll continue to encourage the public to file complaints. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Barido. Thank you, Your Worship. Mr. Crystal. Do, do we talk about excessive noise by motorcycle? The same thing apply with the small cars that modify their muffler. They make as much noise as a motorcycle, if you wish. I imagine that the same thing applies to both. It's all part and parcel of excessive noise. Yes, absolutely. All right, thank you. No one else will continue. 7.2, public presentation, proposed amendments, bylaw Z9 2017 Municipal Development Plan. Good evening. Good evening, Your Worship. So tonight we have a presentation on amendments proposed to the development plan. I will present you the order. We'll talk about the deadline, critical dates, the amendment proposed to the municipal development plan, and also the proposed amendment to the zoning bylaw. The important date, June the 10th. The municipal council made a decision to hear the hearing on bylaw for a presentation to be made tonight, which is the case, and in a hearing on August the 12th. There were announcement on the website on June the 20th. Afterward, on August 21st, the PAC will make a recommendation to the municipal, and on September the 8th, the municipal council will make a decision about the bylaw, the proposals to the bylaw. It is rather the legislative level. As you know, in February, the municipal council decided to let go the firm we were dealing with when there were requests for a new communication hearing on the territory of the municipality. After that, there was an internal policy was adopted, Z2 2019. In that policy, we explain how we analyze it when we receive a request from a telecommunication firm. Following that, we had some amendments to make because we still had the wording that was talking about the former firm that we were dealing with, and the amendments, it is to be transparent on these Z2 2019. You've received the documentation. Whether going through the whole bylaw line by line, you were able to see what is being proposed. It's an addition and an amendment to the wording on the paragraph per se. And as for the other amendment, it's in the definition in the production of marijuana. As you know, we had a stipulation in the zoning bylaw that talk about marijuana to medical ends. That was already a uses that was allowed by the federal government. But now we have it for recreation purpose. There was a slight language missing, and the province even suggested to us, with the help of the ministerial decree, what wording would be recommended. It's a wording that will be recommended to all the municipalities in the province to include in their bylaw. So, first of all, there's the addition for recreation purpose, and then what is cannabis, the definition, what is the facility to produce cannabis, and we also include what is allowed as far as production inside the municipality. To give you an example, in the bylaw, it's not mentioned here, but you have it with you, but for the public, there are stipulations as to the distance between a facility that is producing marijuana to both ends. It must be 150 meters from a residential, 150 meters from a facility zone. It means schools, buildings or institutional building from the municipality. We have a good distance between as to the production, industrial production for marijuana purpose. The other stipulation that we have is to make sure that the production should be 100% inside the building. In the zoning bylaw, we recommend that the production be made inside an industrial building and not outside the building, like in open space. Therefore, these were small amendments that we are bringing tonight for communication purpose and also for the provision for the production of marijuana for commercial purpose. So the next steps, as I explained, the next one will be August the 12th, where we'll have a public hearing. And tonight it's the zoning bylaw, and on July the 12th, they have until August, sorry, not July, August the 12th is the public hearing. They have until August the 12th to bring their comments, their concern or their objectives to the proposed bylaw, and they can also call us to talk to us about the proposed bylaw. So they have different mechanisms to become aware of this document. And to conclude, we have here the information. Send any question, comments, objections to the clerk of the municipality, and Mr. Malonson will be able to let us know as to any comments that he will have received. That's it. Any questions from the councillors? Mr. Godet? Just to be clear, the bylaw that you're looking at as to structure the production of cannabis are only of a commercial nature. Is that correct? Yes, purely commercial. Well, for the industrial, for commercial purpose, you don't deal with the personal residential. No, it's legislated by the federal and the province, a maximum number, 4 plants and whatnot. Will these changes that you want to bring, will they be consistent with the other municipalities, or do you define yourself in Dieppe? For Dieppe, it is consistent in what the province is wishing for, as far as general proposal, but municipalities can decide what they would like to find inside their own bylaw. It's like any bylaw. Any municipality can be more severe, but not less than the provincial level. But since it's new, we try to be homogeneous with the rest of with the other municipalities. Thank you. Other question from the councillors? If not, thank you very much. Thanks. Next item, number 8. Question by the public, members of the public. Anyone from the public? Anyone in the public want to speak? Go to the mic. Step right up and walk to the mic.
Oh, okay, the dozen chairs. There you go.
Hear me?
Yep.
I'd like to ask about my property at 272 Gauvin Road. It's right across the Gauvin convenience store. I want to know if you people have plans for my property or not.
Which property again?
272 Gauvin Road,
This one, who's Gauvin? That's right at the...
right across from the store.
Across from the store on Gauvin.
I think there's 3 houses on that side.
Yes, next to me is the apartments.
It's on the market side.
Yeah.
At this time, we don't, no, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
I'm safe?
Not on our part, yes.
Okay, that's what I want to know. I can stop worrying. Okay, thank you very much.
I know private sector has been discussing about those properties, but
Well, I hope they
this is not our end.
don't. Okay.
Not from
Thank you.
this end, I guess, is the answer, but,
Thank you.
okay, thank you. So, alors, on va procéder.
So we'll proceed with number 9, adoption of the minutes. Moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Brideau. That we proceed with the adoption of the regular council meeting held on June the 24th last. On the question? No question? All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded say nay. The minutes of June 24th is adopted as presented. Now we'll proceed with item number 10.1, administration, Mr. Melanson. Thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, everyone. As first item, a year before we adopted the last revision of a policy EXPD 1/2018, there was a financial incentive for real estate. At that time, the council asked us to revise it a year later. Here we are. We proceeded with some revision that we are recommending to you tonight. And it summarized 4 items. First, to standardize the calculation, the land of the municipality versus private land. With this new revision here, each incentive request will be dealt with the same way, reimbursed after the investment. The second element now is we will consider the inside parking at the floor level. After recommendation from the staff, there is a benefit to include this in the incentive while keeping in mind that we are not reducing the public parking on the surface. So the policy will recommend, if it meets this criteria, contribution of $8,000 by a parking lot at the floor level. We'll always have the financial incentive at the opening door of downtown, and the zone of downtown is not only place 1604, but the whole territory of downtown. And also, we've established that the reimbursement formula would never be more than 75% of the tax generated. The time to reimburse will be of 75%. No more tax generated by the project. These are the elements that were brought in the revision. You have the new version that is in the appendix. It is for your consideration, Your Worship, and members of council. Thank you. So for the reading of the resolution, who wants to read it? Madame Leboutier. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council repeal policy XPD 1/2018 entitled Financial Incentive to Real Estate of Downtown Core and adopt the new policy XPD 1/2019 entitled Financial Incentive for Real Estate Densification of Downtown Center. I so move and seconded by Councilor Gadet. On the question. On the question, Mrs. Arsenault. I'd like to clarify, it's $8,000 that we are charging for the floor level. Now that we contribute, not that we, not that we're giving, we're contributing. But for underground, it would be $10,000. That's the difference. The underground parking remain at $10,000, and that's the floor level. $8,000 is a reasonable contribution. Thank you. Thank you. Other question? No other question. All those in favor of the resolution say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. 10.2, engineering approval. As you know, all development must be connected to the water and sewerage system of municipality. In certain zone of the municipality, they don't have the service yet. This is a request received for 239 Arsenal Street to have a private system installed following. This is recommended to proceed with this request and to authorize it. And as any request requested and approved, if and when the system goes by the business, it will have to connect to brand. So we're recommending to install, to approve the installation. Mr. LeBlanc to read the resolution. Thank you, Your Worship. That council declared that the installation of the municipal sanitary sewer is not required to service property identified under PID 008111083, located at 239 Arsenal Road, pursuant to Section 12B to bylaw 82-25 entitled a bylaw relating to local improvement. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councilor LeBlanc, seconded by Councilor Benito. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. Next item, 10.3, Planning and Development, 10.3.1. Mr. Melanson, we've received a request, modification of condition to bylaw ZA31. It's in the new school along Dieppe Boulevard. The condition that they want to have revised is they wanted to have a certain clarification in the clarification following, and that city has been met. They're asking to have a change of zoning in project on August the 12th. Next, that date will have a public hearing, and we will ask the PAC to give its opinion as to the extension of the delay, because we can only hear it in September. So it is that request we're asking that the two dates be fixed by you tonight. For the reading of the resolution, Mr. Ella. Thank you, Your Worship. That council scheduled a public hearing on August the 12th, 2019 at 6 p.m. at the Dieppe City Hall to hear objection with regard to an amendment condition to zoning bylaw ZA31 registered at the registry office under number 3311-16998 on September the 18th, 2013. That council requests the written views of the Planning Advisory Committee and extend the deadline pursuant to Section 110(3) of the Community Planning Act to September the 9th, 2019. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councilor Ala, seconded by Councilor Arsenault. On the question. No question. All those in favor of the resolution say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. 10.3.2. Mr. Melanson. Here we have a request who wants to amend the soil map and from commercial to residential and the municipal development plan to become commercial to mix to the to R3 and on the land adjacent to LF School to proceed with the 4 houses and some housing tonight. We're before you to authorize a public hearing on the 12th. Next, a public hearing be held on September the 9th at City Hall, and that we ask the advice of the PAC Planning Advisory Committee during their next meeting. Thank you for the reading of resolution, Mr. Brito. Thank you, Your Worship. That council scheduled a public presentation on August the 12th, 2019, 6 p.m. at the Dieppe City Hall to hear objection with regard to a proposed change to the General Land Use Map Municipal Development Plan Bylaw Z9 2017 for a portion of the land identified under PIN 00924316 at the council. Schedule a public hearing on September the 9th, 2019 at 7 p.m. at the Dieppe City Hall to hear objections with regard to a proposed change to the zoning map, zoning bylaw Z10 2017 to permit the development of a row house on a portion of said land, and council request the written views of the Planning Advisory Committee and extend the deadline pursuant to Section 110 bracket 3 of Community Planning Act, September 23, 2019. That's so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councilor Brito, seconded by Councilor Cormier. On the question. On the question. I saw your light, so I'm sorry. If there's no question, all those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. It brings us to 10.3.3. Financial participation to the climate change transition project, Mr. Melanson, through the initiative of the Francophone Municipal of New-Brunswick. Dieppe decided to participate in this initiative. The city, with other partners, established 3 first steps have been reached. This step, for a contribution of $5,000, we ask, it's required to have a resolution to proceed with steps 4 and 5 of this initiative. So steps 4 and 5 is to value the local plan and to watch the progress and to present the results. Following this resolution, we will proceed with these steps, and this financing is through the FCM, the Federation of Canadian Municipality, for the protection, climate protection. It's up to the council to proceed to step 4 or 5. For the reading, Mrs. Arsenault, to read the resolution. Thank you, Your Worship. That council commit to completing milestone 4 and 5 of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Partner for Climate Protection PCP program. That council commit to participating financially in the climate change transition project up to a maximum amount of $5,000 paid to the Association Francophone Municipality New-Brunswick before July the 31st, 2019, and authorize the expenditure be defrayed from account number 1-2-52-12-2836 General Operating Budget, Sustainable Development Plan. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Mrs. Arsenault, seconded by Councilor Thibodeau. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. 10.3.4. Mr. Melanson, you have before you the recommendation of the Planning Advisory Committee that recommends to adopt CV1. You will remember that when we receive a proposal following the master plan of our downtown development that was developed by a given company, we took the service of Atelier Urbain in 2018, and we want to have a development guide for our downtown. So in these elements, one of the recommendation was to have a control and access on Champlain, that is control access on Champlain. This is what the recommendation on the plan on the PAC is recommending, and following the recommendation, they recommend that we accept this bylaw CV1 tonight to be considered by the Municipal Council. Excuse me. Thank you. For the reading of the resolution, Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council accept the recommendation made in the report dated June the 19th, 2019 by the Planning and Advisory Committee, namely that the process relating to the adoption of bylaw CV-1 2019 relating to the establishment of control access streets within downtown Dieppe continues. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Mr. Arsenault. On the question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. No municipal bylaws tonight. No notice of motion. And we'll proceed with the inquiries and announcement by members of council. I believe I'll start on my right tonight. Mr. Godet, thank you, Your Worship. Nothing tonight. Thank you. Mr. Leblanc? Thank you, Your Worship. Two information question. Yesterday, I went down Amiro at the corner of Jeanette and noticed that the light was burned on the southerly direction. Jeanette, the middle light was burned. Was it fixed? And secondly, I mentioned the playground, the basketball on Frédéric Lavoie. I wonder if that was fixed. Mr. Burke, I'll have to check that out. I wanted to go and see, but I'll make note of it. Could you go and see if it was done? No, that's it for tonight. Mr. Cormier, thank you, Your Worship. Come and join us on Mercredi show at place 1604. Thank you, Mr. Brideau. Thank you, Your Worship. I would like to mention one thing. We know the holidays have started, the schools are closed, but I ask the people to be cautious that travel small street and the patients for the residents. I know that tonight we talked with Mr. Critchlow of excessive noise made by motorcycles, small cars, modified cars. I ask the people to be respectful towards everyone. It's fun to press on the gas pedal and to be heard, but it bothers people. If we want to have a nice spring, nice vacation, be patient. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Laboutier. Nothing tonight. Thank you. Mr. Thibodeau. Well, I want to remind the citizens that at the end of the month, we have the Imaginary Festival, and they can take part of it in great numbers this year. We put the emphasis on the flying kit. Those who are like the flying kit, come to Dover Park. That's all, Your Worship. Thank you, Ms. Arsenault. Thank you, Your Worship. I want to wish everyone a good vacation, a good summer. Be cautious and be in good health. Keep your health. Thank you. Mr. Alla? Thank you, Your Worship. I would like to remind the citizens I have a good experience this week. Do you know we can pay our invoice at the swimming pool? It was 6:15. I was late. I was unable to go to City Hall this week. I go to the swimming pool. It was open, and I was able to pay my invoices for the City of Moncton. It's a service. It was a young girl. It was a good experience. And we talk about the negative, but this is positive. So, and to the employees, it's good service to offer. And I'd like to mention it secondly. As my colleague said, it's summer. Good New-Brunswick Day on August the 5th. But a lot of holidays are coming up in August. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you. Just to mention that, in fact, the process of being able to pay at the Aquatic Center has been in existence for 2, maybe 3 years, and we can even pay our ice time. When you rent for ice time, you can pay all that at the Aquatic Center after normal time at City Hall. It's an improvement made by the staff in the last years. Thank you, one and all. On that, good evening, everybody. I have nothing to add. So, good evening, good night.